Aunt Hayriye's 100-year life story. We set off towards Hayriye's house in Yeniköy, Torbalı. Today was special because she was turning 100 years old. A modest yet heartfelt celebration awaited us in her home. Which had stood the test of time. The house was located a bit outside the village center, small but warm and welcoming. As we stepped inside, we walked through a narrow hallway that led to the kitchen and living room. The home was simple, just a kitchen, a living room, and a bathroom. But every corner of it seemed to hold traces of a life well lived, every space reflecting memories of a woman who had spent decades in this little house. Hayriye, though older, greeted us with a bright smile. Her delicate frame, white hair, and wrinkled skin were evidence of her age, yet her eyes sparkled with the joy of living. She welcomed us in, her voice warm and full of life. "Welcome, welcome," she said. Despite the years, her energy still felt young. We gathered around the birthday cake. The aroma of freshly baked cake filled the air, setting the tone for a happy day. We all wished her a happy birthday. And as she blew out the candles, her eyes twinkled. In that moment, it felt as though she was reliving her youth, if only for a brief second. Sitting at the kitchen table, Hayriye began to tell us stories from her youth. "I grew up here in Yeniköy," she said. "In those days, life was simpler, but the joy was so much greater." As she spoke, her eyes wandered into the past. "When I was young, my mother and I would sit and talk in this room. In the evenings, neighbors would gather and we'd share tea. This house was always at the heart of everything." The warmth of the room, the sound of her voice, and the simple surroundings made us realize how quickly time had passed. Every item in the house, from the old wooden table to the yellowing photo on the wall, seemed to hold a piece of her life. A reminder of the years gone by. We spent a couple of hours flipping through her old photo album. Each photograph was a window into the past, capturing moments of her youth, her family, and the life she had lived. Looking at the pictures, she smiled and said, "I still feel young inside." As we continued to chat, she shared stories of the hardships, the lost friends, and the many changes that life had brought. But in the end, she said something that stuck with us. Life is not about the number of years, but about the people you share those years with. After hours of talking, laughing, and reminiscing, we realized that we hadn't just celebrated Hayriye's 100 years. We had been reminded of the true meaning of life, that the little moments, the relationships, and the shared memories are what truly matter. As we left her home and drove back, there was a peacefulness in all of us. Despite her age, Hayriye had remained the same warm, smiling woman, full of life and wisdom. The few hours we had spent in her small kitchen, sharing stories, left us with some of the most precious memories of all.